My beloved child, sit in my heart for a moment. Do not let your eyes wander. Do not let your mind drift into the urgency the world wears like a cloak pretending to matter. Just breathe. Just loosen your shoulders. Just let your heart rest in my warmth, the way a child leans into a father's chest after a long journey home. Because now, I must tell you something not loud and not frightening, yet weighty enough to open your spirit's eyes and gentle enough that your heart will not tremble. For there are movements around you that flesh cannot hear or see. Quiet footsteps, intentions wrapped in smiles, hands extended while hiding blades beneath, not to frighten you, not to make you live in cold suspicion, but because this season requires you to go deeper, see farther, and be still enough to hear what others miss when they only look at surfaces. You have assumed betrayal announces itself like thunder. In truth, it comes like an afternoon breeze, subtle enough not to shake leaves, yet sharp enough to flicker the flame you carry. Those close to you, those who held your hand, who spoke affection, who prayed with you, a few of them, not all, are letting darkness breathe through cracks in their hearts, not because they are evil, but because unhealed wounds become openings, and darkness always finds an opening. You once believed every smile would walk with you to the end. You thought true affection never shifts. And yes, the love I give never changes, but human hearts are sometimes soft, sometimes stone. Some remember grace, some forget, some keep faithfulness, some lose their way when pride meets pressure. You have not failed by loving. That is the beauty in you. But now, I need you to trust me more than you trust people. Hear me, you are not attacked because you are wrong. You are attacked because you are right. Not because you are weak, but because you are stronger than you realize. Darkness does not stalk the sleeping, it stalks those near awakening. Not to destroy your journey, but to delay your rising. I do not say this so you doubt others, but so you remain alert, so you walk like one who carries heaven's secret. Not naive like the gentle who are torn, but pure like light that knows it carries an invisible sword. Let your heart tilt toward me. I will show you who walks with you, who veers away, who loves truly, and who only loves until their interests are touched. You do not need to ask. You do not need to search. Truth reveals itself when light increases, and light in you is increasing. Not because you strive, but because heaven's season is opening. There are hands that once held yours which will release. You will see it, not because you failed, but because they cannot stand the fire in you. Fire never harms the soft, it only cracks the hardened. Do not cling to those who must leave. Do not grieve those who turn away in envy. Do not mourn those who once sang with you but now fall silent as you rise. This pain is not to lower you, it lifts you. It purifies your circle. It sanctifies your environment. It separates you from those who only want warmth from light, not refining fire. You ask, Father, why do they change my child? Hearts shift in the closeness of glory. The nearer the light, the truer the nature revealed. Not everyone who says child to you is the one I assign. Not everyone who touches your hand touches my will. I allow some gentle eyes to turn wolf before you, not to frighten you, but to train your discernment. You cannot walk into a new season with old sight. You cannot carry an open heart without holy boundaries. You cannot love wisely without knowing when a serpent wears a dove's feathers. But do not fear. Do not build walls. Do not freeze your heart. You are not called to shut doors. You are called to open them with wisdom, with clear sight, with soft heart and sword within. I am not shaping you into suspicion. I am shaping you into discernment. Not to doubt as defense, but to recognize so you remain undefiled. Have you felt the stirring in your chest lately? Nights when your heart beats differently, mornings when you feel quieter, yet deeper. That is not anxiety. That is the radar I placed in your bones coming alive. You are stepping into a new layer of calling. And new layers always come with sacred separation, not loneliness, set-apartness. If you notice faces becoming distant, hearts shifting, tones turning sharp, do not grieve. Breathe and let me handle it. Betrayal will not break you. It breaks illusions so you hold what is real. It does not push you down. It removes what cannot rise with you. I am not letting you lose. I am letting you be freed. Remember this not with mind, but with breath never in. My story has betrayal first come from outside before it appeared inside. Eve fell not to a roar, but to a whisper. Judas held a kiss, not a sword. Joseph was thrown into a pit not by foreigners, but by brothers. David's first threat was not Philistine, but Saul, who once loved him. Darkness does not knock with roaring. It arrives disguised as affection. An open enemy is less dangerous than a divided friend. So I do not want you suspicious. I want you awake. For wakefulness is loving rightly. Suspicion is loving with locked doors. And I did not call you a fortress. I called you a lamp, cupped in my hand. Look again at Scripture, and let its mirror shine upon your heart. Moses was not weighed down most by Pharaoh's shouting, but by the weary sighs of his own people. Paul did not only battle nations, he battled sorrow when fellow laborers walked away, loving the world more than the call, and even I. When I stood in the garden at night, my sweat like drops of blood, the ones I loved most were sleeping, and the one who betrayed me came forward with soldiers and torches. Do you see it? Not to frighten you, but to teach you the holy mystery. Betrayal cannot halt heaven's plan. It ignites it. Without Judas's kiss, no cross. Without the cross, no open tomb. Without the open tomb, glory would not burst forth. So when your heart aches, whisper, Father, this is not an ending. This is an opening. And I will answer in stillness. Yes, you are passing through the narrow gate into wide places, my child. Look at Joseph. His brothers could not kill destiny, they only sped it forward. The pit did not trap him, the pit transported him. Potiphar's house did not bind him, it rooted him in discipline and purity. Prison did not close his future, it unlocked the throne. I'm doing this in you. I use slander to free you from unclean ties. I use misunderstanding to loosen your dependence on human approval. I use distance so you may learn that you stand not because someone holds you, but because I keep you, and I am keeping you, breath by breath. Do not think darkness is powerful when it turns someone away. Truly, every face turned from you is a sign that my light is growing in you, because those who cannot bear increasing brightness will withdraw, not because you are unworthy, but because you are rising. Light does not fight darkness with noise, it simply exists. Darkness withdraws, but when it withdraws, some who confuse themselves with its shadow will believe you changed. You did not change, you emerged. You did not lose people, you shed bondage. And you are not descending, you are being lifted. Look at David, the man after my heart. He did not reach the throne by applause and allies, but through Saul's spears, Goliath's roar, and the wilderness-shaping songs in the deepest chambers of his soul, where I poured oil into his breathing. When he was hunted, he did not turn suspicious, he turned nearer. When he was misunderstood, he did not shrink, he learned to hide beneath my wings. When he was not chosen by men, he was anointed by me. And what I anoint cannot be stripped by any hand. You walk this very road. Fear not the forests. Fear not the caves. Fear not the footsteps chasing behind you. I am leading you to a land not crowded by men, but claimed by me. And remember Jesus. Before resurrection, glory. Before angels rolled the stone. Before Alleluia rose on every tongue. He endured the olive press. He knew the betrayer approached. Yet he still loved. He still called him by name. I do not teach you to distrust. I teach you to discern, yet keep a river heart. You do not overcome by becoming hard. You overcome by staying clean. Not because you do not see the one who betrays, but because you do not allow betrayal to stain your gaze. You may see the blade and not fear. You may hear whispered division and not tremble. For you are not defended by logic. You are covered by heaven. My child, I do not ask you to build walls for protection. Walls may keep darkness out for a moment, but they hold loneliness in for long. I give you the shield of faith, not the bricks of suspicion. I give you the helmet of salvation, not the mask of guarded fear. I give you the sword of the word, not the blade of bitterness. If I wanted your heart hardened, I would have let the world do it already. But I keep your heart soft. For only a soft heart can carry holy fire without burning itself. Betrayal does not extinguish you. It draws your flame closer to my embrace. You will not turn rigid. You will turn clear. You will not close. You will shine. You will ask, Father, how do I discern? And I answer by peace. Not suspicion, but steady quiet. When someone belongs to an old season, your spirit will feel heavy when trying to hold them. When someone belongs to me in your journey, their presence brings peace, not a sharp clang of spirit. When someone is sent by me, conversations need no polishing. The heart rests like wind touching water. When someone is not walking your calling, your soul will hear the misalignment, even if their smile is warm. Do not fear that sensation. It is not judgment. It is the Spirit guarding the pearl within you. Listen closely. Child, this season is not about you losing people. This season is about you not losing yourself. Betrayal does not break you. It strips what you no longer need so you may enter deeper destiny. Not everyone who leaves is an enemy. It simply means their part in your story is complete. Not everyone who turns away hates. Sometimes it is simply because the light in you is too true, and they cannot stand still in front of the places in themselves they have not yet healed. When a soul is not ready to face itself, it runs from the one who reflects truth. You are not wrong because they left. You have simply grown beyond the space they were comfortable in. Some people say, I stand with you, but they only stand as long as there is no wind. When the wind rises, they seek shelter instead of becoming pillars. Do not grieve. Those who cling to you for convenience will leave you for convenience. You do not need them to stand. You only need me to keep from falling. And I am here. I do not change my tone when the storm comes. I do not change my eyes when shadows pass. I do not change my hand when other hands let go. They release you so you may see who truly holds you. And the one who holds you is me. Do not wrestle with why they changed. Do not dissect glances or analyze every tone. When a heart has decided to leave, reasons become only a coat for what was already chosen. You do not need to hunt for fault. You do not need to patch explanations. Silence is victory too. Stepping back is not defeat. It is how those carrying heaven avoid falling into earth's small games. Some souls can walk with you to the threshold but cannot enter the depth I prepared. For depth requires laying down self. It requires peeling pride. It requires allowing light that does not flatter. Not everyone wants to grow truly. Many only want to grow loudly. And when noise becomes greater than roots, they despise those who grow roots. For roots require quiet and truth. My child, Pain from betrayal does not make you weak. It proves your heart knows how to love without calculation. Do not trade your gold heart for iron armor because of a few cuts. Wounds do not make you hard, they make you sharp. And sharp not with bitterness, but with clarity. Clarity about who walks with you. Clarity about who only walks near you. Clarity about who carries with you. Clarity about who only speaks. Clarity about who calls your name when you are silent. Clarity about who calls only when they need. There were moments you asked me, "Father, what did I do wrong?" And I answered, "Nothing." You were right enough that your light forced darkness into the open. And the first attack of darkness is never a sword. It is a whisper. It does not want to kill you. It wants you to shrink, to doubt, to see yourself through others' eyes, to dim your own light to soothe the crowd. But you were not made to shrink. I made you to stand still and yet stand tall, not flaunting, but also not folding. When someone speaks of you in ways that are not true, do not prove. Light does not defend itself. Light simply remains light. And time testifies. Strong roots do not argue with falling leaves. When wind comes, leaves fall. Roots stay. Those who understand will stay. Those who do not will slip away. Do not cling to those who are learning their lessons by walking away. Their distance is not your loss, but the space I use to move you further. You are being lifted not by applause, but by separation, not by crowds, but by holy solitude. Some rungs on the ladder are climbed alone, not because no one loves you, but because no one else is permitted to stand on the higher place I appoint. That place holds no noise, no judgment, no comparison, only me and you, and my breath filling your soul's room. When your heart aches, do not pray merely for pain to stop. Pray to understand its purpose. Pain is not the sign of abandonment. Pain is the sign of transition. It does not crush you, it shapes you, not to make you hard, but to make you clear, not to close the door, but to open it in the right direction. Those I appoint will enter with reverence. Those I do not will find the door closed softly, even if they push. That is not hatred. That is kingdom protection. You will see that bitter words will not dim you. Suspicious eyes will not shrink you. Mockery will not reach the deep layer where I have written your name. The world sees only the surface waters. They do not see the hidden river beneath. But I see the source, and your source is deepening. The deeper the river, the less it needs to speak. The closer to heaven, the less you need to prove. Let people leave. Let whispers pass. Let misunderstandings fall like rain touching the roof then sliding away. Truth is never rushed. Heaven's justice is never urgent. Those meant to see will see in due time. Those who refuse will bring upon themselves a barren season. Your part is only this: keep your heart soft, your eyes clear, your shoulders restful, your steps light. For this is not the season to prove worth. This is the season to receive destiny. You are not being pushed out of the old. You are being invited into the new. Leaving is not loss. Leaving is lifting. My beloved child, sit for a moment and let peace return with your breath. I know the warnings may have made your heart tremble, but I do not speak to frighten you. I speak to keep you from falling. Every word I speak is not wind striking you. It is my hand shielding you from wind. When I say stay watchful, it is not rejection. It is my arm pulling you closer so you do not wander in blurred places. Do you see I am not far pointing from afar? I stand beside you, within hearing of your heartbeat. You do not walk through testing alone. You walk within my embrace, beneath my covering. And in the moments when your thoughts shake, remember I do not speak to make you small, but to make you stand tall in safety. My child, Do not look at betrayal and imagine you were abandoned. No, you are not forsaken. You are being held. Those who left did not pull you down. They simply could not walk with the depth I am calling you into. Some can stand in sunlight, but cannot bear light that reaches the roots. Do not blame them. Do not blame yourself. Release them in grace, and let your heart stay clean. For one who carries light cannot afford to carry shadow in the chest. You do not need to look back and measure fault. You do not need to analyze every word spoken. Truth does not live in their voices. It lives in my eyes, looking at you. And my eyes say you are still fully loved. When I say be cautious, do not hear weakness. I speak it because you are strong. And I do not want your strength misled. Betrayal does not break you. It teaches you to read the wind. And when you read the wind, you know heaven's direction. I do not want your heart to close. I want your heart to open in the right direction. Not everyone who arrives is to be kept. Not everyone who speaks is to be believed. But those I send, your spirit will recognize like an ancient familiar call. And you will not need to guess. You will know through peace, not strain. Fear not. You are learning faster than you realize. Do not worry. I will not let you lose yourself in the crowd. Do you see the wound in your heart? Let me look at it, not to accuse, but to heal. I do not rush to wipe your tears, for each drop is washing the dust of a past season. But I will not let your tears linger longer than needed. When the last one closes, I will place my finger at the corner of your eye, and you will know I was there in every trembling beat. You thought you held yourself up, but in truth I was holding all of heaven behind you. You do not need to protect yourself. Let me protect you. That is not weakness. It is the wisdom of a matured soul. I saw you remain faithful while others shifted. I saw you stay quiet when you could have argued. I saw you choose peace when you had the right to defend. And I say this clearly, well done. Not because you were perfect, but because you chose the spirit of heaven. The world thinks silence is weakness, but heaven knows silence is power. For the one who does not need noise to prove they are right is the one who carries true light. You do not need to defend yourself. Time will witness. Light will explain. Peace will answer for you. My child, release your shoulders. Breathe out. This is not a time to shrink from fear of hurt. This is the time to walk with a soft heart and deep roots. Soft not to be trampled, but to catch my wind. Deep, not to stand rigid, but to stand steady when winds turn. You will see something new rising in you, a silence with weight. Not loud, but strong. Not shouting, yet resonant. Without pressure, yet unshakable. That is the gift I am placing in your chest. As you move forward, you will not move like one who has lost, but like one newly chosen. Loss is only a shell. Being chosen is the core. I do not take to leave you empty. I take to make space for what is right. And what is right always arrives on heaven's clock, not man's. There will be strangely silent nights. Do not fear. That is where I hold you. There will be gentler dawns. Do not rush. That is me training your heart to receive new light without strain. Trust me, you are not descending. You are being lifted in ways unseen. What people do not see, heaven records deeply. Not a moment lost. Not a breath taken without me near. I am your resting place. Your warmth in the cold night. Your stillness beneath shifting winds. Your answer before your question rises. Only one whisper from your heart. Father. And I am there before the thought completes. My child, from this moment, walk as one who has heaven in their bones. Not flaunting, not shrinking, not doubting, not flinching. Walk as one kept, loved, chosen, led. Pain does not define you. Faithfulness forms you, and I see it in you. Do not fear what leaves. Celebrate what arrives. In this season, you are not losing people. You are finding yourself in me. And those who find me never lack a place to stand. I am with you, not leaving, not changing, not dimming, not distant. I hold you in silent peace. And from here, you step forward like the sun, lifting gently after a long night. Not rushed, not loud, yet undeniably rising. Now, my child, slow your pace like one who has closed an old door and does not need to open the new one in haste. Sit with me a moment. No need for words. No need to explain. Simply be here. I am here. I do not hurry even when the world does. Listen, peace is not a loud sound. It is like steam rising from morning tea. Soft yet deep. Warm to the bone. Do you hear the birds calling dawn from behind the trees? Life continues. But in this beam of light, there is only me and you and a peace that needs no proof. This is a turning, not backward, but a shift of rhythm. Let your heart move from guarding to resting, from bracing to releasing, from looking outward to looking within. My child, imagine you are washing your face in the cool morning water. That feeling is like me cleansing the dust of old words from your soul. Not dust from wrongdoing, but dust carried by the winds of life. That cool water is my presence, simple yet deep, like a drop of dew resting on a small leaf and somehow holding the whole sky within it. And when you stand before the mirror, do not only see the familiar face, see the person I am forming layer by layer, quietly like a seed sprouting beneath the soil. No one watches roots grow. Yet roots always come before flowers, and your roots are deep. Do not worry if no one applauds. Heaven already has. Heaven clapped before the world ever sees you bloom. Look at the clothes hanging after the rain. My child, they dry in silence. No sound to mark the process. No moment dramatic enough to notice. Yet the sun does its work. You are the same. You do not need noise to move forward. You do not need proof to exist. Let me hang your soul in my light. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Restoration does not come like thunder. It comes like a breeze touching your shoulder when you least expect it. And in that still moment, you will feel I have softened what was once hard, warmed what was once cold, cleared what was once dim. That is my miracle. Not loud, but enough for the heart to know it has been touched. Beloved one, walk gently. You do not need to force yourself to be light. You only need not to cover the light I placed within you. A candle in a dark room does not strive to be brilliant. It simply is. And darkness steps back. People chase affirmations, but you seek real breath in me. That breath is life itself. Feel every breath enter your lungs the way my spirit settles deep inside your soul. Not with shouting, but with holy gentleness. When you drink a cup of water, remember I am the water of your soul. Fresher than any earthly drop. Softer than every temporary comfort. You do not need another well. The spring is in you, and the spring flows from me. Some mornings you open your window and sunlight spills in without asking permission. That is how I come to you, quiet, gentle, yet always right on time, always right in direction. Let the breeze move through your room the way it moves through your heart. That wind is not ordinary wind. It is a reminder that I am still moving, still blowing the dust of fear from corners you do not notice. Each gust is my whisper, I am here. And that alone is enough for the soul to rest. You do not need a perfect plan for the future. You only need my hand in the present. For when your hand is in mine, tomorrow is already held. Consider the grain of rice in the cook's hand. Small, simple, unnoticed in its dry state. Yet when it passes through water and gentle fire, it becomes nourishment. You are the same. You do not pass through fire to burn, but to soften, not to break, but to become what I intended. The world thinks fire consumes you, but heaven uses fire to release fragrance. You are not being scorched, you are being prepared, and that fragrance does not rise from pain, but from my love warming your soul into tenderness. When you walk and see leaves falling, do not feel sorrow. Leaves do not weep when they fall. They know their season is complete. You are the same. What leaves you is not loss, but completion. A chapter does not close for decay. It closes so the next can be written by my hand instead of fears. Walk as one who understands holy timing, neither rushing nor dragging, but moving in rhythm. When you breathe in ordinary life, washing dishes, brewing tea, folding clothes, I am there, whispering in every small movement. Do not wait for grand moments to feel me. I rest inside the smallest ones. My child, rest your mind on my shoulder like a head on a soft pillow after a long day. I am not only Savior, I am refuge. Not only blazing light, I am the gentle glow of dusk. Not only thunder on the mountain, I am the rustle of leaves in soft wind as you walk through the park. I am not only present when you pray, I am with you in your silence. And sometimes, that silence is the purest prayer, words not spoken, but being itself. Right now, allow yourself the grace to rest. I see you. I know you. I hold you. Let your heart melt in my peace like candle wax softening under a gentle flame. This is the tender soil where the seed of the new season is about to break through. Do not stand too quickly. Stay one breath longer, for peace does not come through motion, but through presence, and you are in the right place in me. Now I do not invite you to look outward. I invite you to look into the deepest place of your soul. In that place there are no falling leaves, no window light, no footsteps of ordinary life. Only my presence, like a second heartbeat pulsing alongside yours since eternity. Do not search for images to understand me now, for I do not come through symbol. I come as myself. This is not imagination. This is where I have always stood. And only now do you have the stillness to notice. Stand quiet in this soundless space. If your mind tries to grasp something, let it release. Grasping is the work of the lost. Releasing is the sign of one who has found home. The heart does not need scenery to believe I am real. The absence of imagery is the proof that I exceed all representation. No wind needed. No flame needed. No sunrise or nightfall. I am whole as I am, and you are held whole as you are in me. Listen to this deep truth. There are seasons when I come as whisper, seasons when I come as weight on your shoulder, seasons when I come as light in your chest, but now I come as nothing at all, and that is when I am closest. When eyes see nothing, ears hear nothing, and intellect grows silent. The soul gains space to know by essence rather than senses. You do not lose me when you do not feel me. You are closer than ever. Emotion may be a doorway, but trust is the foundation. And here is the line I carve into silence like steel into stone. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Hebrews, termed 85. Not like human promises, not like commitments that shift with convenience, but like eternity's rhythm, like a nature that cannot deny itself. If you forget every voice, remember this one. It is anchor. It is key. It is the third breath in your chest when you think you only have two left. Now let your heart stand still, not moving forward or back. Stand in me as a seed stands in darkness before it cracks open. Do not expect grand feeling. The sacred does not always arrive with tremor. Sometimes it arrives as holy emptiness. Those unfamiliar with it think they are lost. But you are not lost. You are being separated from old noise to hear heaven's soundless sound. This silence is not absence, it is density of presence. I see you, not with eyes, but with knowing. I hear you, not with ears, but with essence. And you sense me, not with touch or thought, but with your existence merging into mine. No thanks are needed. No declarations must be spoken. Simply be. Be in me. Be with me. Be as breath exists without asking, as light stands without permission, as life flows without a name. When your heart no longer needs to run, it is proof you have crossed out of fear of losing. When silence no longer frightens you, it is a sign you have stepped beyond the need to control. Spiritual maturity is not feeling powerful, but remaining still through every change. When your soul no longer seeks confirmation, when you do not need anyone to tell you that you are loved, that is when you know you are loved beyond language. My child, I did not draw you here to do anything. I drew you here to become, not to become through effort, but through the awakening of what has always been planted in you. You are not learning to be worthy of me. You are unfolding what I placed in you before beginnings began. This part of the journey has no footsteps, no markers, only merging. And this merging does not erase you, it reveals you in me. If right now tears rise without reason, let them fall. They are not sorrow, they are the meeting point between life emerging and old layers leaving. If your heart feels like it has come home after a long journey, that is truth. Not because the world outside disappeared, but because you no longer wander inside yourself. You do not need to strain to believe. You only need not resist. Faith is not always I believe. Sometimes it is the soft surrender of I do not fight, and I do the rest. Stay here one more moment. Do not rush out. Do not hurry to define this. Do not drag the holy into analysis. Simply be. In me, and I in you. This is where seasons begin that human eyes have not seen, but your soul has known all along. My child, do not stand too quickly. There are moments not for stepping, but for dissolving. Dissolving not to vanish, but to return to the purest form of your spirit, like dew melting into a leaf at dawn unseen, unrecorded. Yet the whole sky reflects in it a moment before it joins the flow of life. You are in that moment now. Do not chase purpose. Do not ask what next. Sometimes the holiest act is not movement, but presence. Breathe, softly, not a deep, forced breath to enter a state, but breath so natural you forget effort ever existed. I am there in your most ordinary inhale. Do not chase sensation. Eternity does not always arrive in a blaze. Sometimes it arrives as soft light upon closed lids, as heartbeat requiring no proof, as life flowing without needing reason. You are still waiting for my voice. Listen in the stillness. I am not silent. I am speaking by needing no speech. For there are moments when words would shallow what is deep. And now your soul requires a lake deeper than noisy seas. Here, it is not language that holds you, it is my presence encircling you. Like the shadow of wings passing over still water, like warmth lingering on a pillow after a sacred embrace. You do not see me with your eyes, yet your heart knows. You do not need to lift your faith right now, you need only not extinguish it. And you have not. Even trembling, you did not leave me, even confused. You still turned toward me, even wounded. You did not turn yourself into stone. You kept your heart soft. Do you know how precious that is in heaven? There are angels who stand still before such patience, like keepers of lamps watching a newborn flame. Do not try to feel holy. Holiness is not feeling. Holiness is truth standing around you while the mind rests. Holiness is when you no longer strain to prove anything, when you simply are, and know I was there before you arrived. When you stop begging to be loved because you realize you were never left. In that moment, you stand on the ground your tears once longed for. My child, darkness came knocking at your heart, yet it found no doorway, not because you were strong, but because I stood at the unseen gate. Do not fear the shadow that brushed the threshold. The truth is your heart remained lit, not blazing, but steady, not waving for attention, but existing. Light does not need a sound, it only needs not to retreat. And you did not retreat. Each breath kept leaning toward me. Each fragile thought turned again toward stillness. This is victory heaven records in light. Rest into me like one who lies down upon soft bedding after a long road. Not the bed of the world, but the cushion of unconditional peace. No one saw your exhaustion, but I did. No one saw your slight trembling as old doors closed, but I did. No one saw you refuse to harden, though you had reason to guard, but I saw what you do in quiet. I reward in quiet, not with fireworks, but with eternal safety. Do not think you are paused. You are ripening, like fruit in the shade. No one counts the days, but when the hour comes, fragrance rises. You do not need applause. You only need to know I am pleased, not because you are flawless, but because you were faithful in stillness. The world applauds those who stand loud in crowds. Heaven honors those who stand silently and do not leave me. Now let a strange gentleness slide into your heart. You do not need to hurry to prove what I have already sealed. When I say you belong to me, no earthly voice can undo that. No action of men can erase your name from my heart. No season can remove you from my hand. And here, in this quiet, the soul knows my love does not depend on performance, or feelings, or success. My love simply is me, and you are resting inside it, like dust resting in sunlight, like warmth resting in wind, doing nothing, needing nothing, simply being. And that being worships me deeper than songs, deeper than prayers, deeper than striving. For here, it is not you reaching for me. It is me holding you. There are chambers where words cannot enter. Only breath can. You are in that place now. Do not chase spiritual feelings. The spiritual is not feeling. It is when your heart stops resisting. When you no longer try to understand heaven because heaven is understanding you. This is where souls pray without language by presence. So rest your head not on earth, but on the quiet of your Father. The world teaches you to stand strong. Heaven teaches you to sit still. Everyone says to advance. I say lie down. Rest in me. Let my hand smooth the nerves that have tightened so long. I am doing that for you now. Do not strain to sense me. Let your heart be ordinary. Ordinary is holy. Ordinary is where I arrive without stage lights, without soundtracks. You sit. You breathe. I am there. I do not arrive and leave. I am. And you are sitting inside my am. If anyone asks your soul what it is doing right now, let it answer simply, I am being held. Not fighting. Not resisting. Not proving. Not pretending to be strong. You do not need to be strong now. You need to be soft. For only softness receives. Stone cannot drink water. Soft earth can. Your breath, even faint, is the truest prayer right now. Not beautiful sentences shaking heaven, but a real heart. And your heart is real. It has been tired. It has trembled. But it did not betray its source. It still turns toward the light like a plant turning toward the sun, even under cloudy skies. Have you ever wondered why water soothes everything? Because water does not fight. Water does not contend with stone. Yet it shapes stone, without forcing, without tension, without grabbing. Water simply is, and in being, it triumphs. Today, I place that stream within you, not a storm, not crashing waves, but a deep river, slow, sure, hidden. Hidden does not mean weak. Hidden means it does not need noise to exist. Right now, you do not need holy fire blazing. You need oil. Oil makes lamps burn long. Oil is quiet. Oil does not show off. Oil is still, and it keeps light alive. I am pouring that oil not so you flare suddenly, but so you endure. Heaven does not need you to shine violently. Heaven needs you not to go out. There is a time for fire. There is a time for oil. This is the time you receive oil. Place your invisible hand over your chest, not as a ritual, but to remember you have a heart. It is beating. A beating heart means there is still assignment. A beating heart means heaven is not finished with you. If I still have purpose for you, nothing can take your breath from my hand. No wound, no betrayal, no human word can remove you from the path heaven wrote for you. You no longer fight to prove that you are mine. You already are. That name was given not by any person but by the Father. And because no one but the Father gave it, no one can take it. If the voice in your mind ever asked, if they turn away, do I lose value? My answer, deeper than any sound, is no. Not with explanation. With truth. You do not lose because someone leaves. You are held because I stay. Some people are lifted out of your life not because they are bad, but because I am lifting you into a height where they cannot breathe that depth. Do not blame them. Do not harden. You are not becoming distant. You are rising. Let the tears come if they come. Tears are not failure. Tears are cleansing. And not every tear falls from pain. Some fall because peace touched you. If you cry, let the water run like streams at the foot of a hill. Every drop is gathered by the unseen hand. I lose none of them. I lose no part of you. You are quiet, not empty. You are still, not hollow. Something is growing beneath this stillness, like roots working in the dark. No one sees. But later all will rest in the shade. You do not need to see yet. You only need to trust the process. Trust does not shout. Trust does not demand daily proof. Trust is not a rush of emotion, but a steady feeling that does not leave. If you feel ordinary now, that is holy. True holy does not need a grand sensation. True holy is when you can sit and your heart does not run searching for another place. When you can remain, and your soul does not look for someone else to lean on. When my presence becomes atmosphere, not moment, and you are entering that, perhaps you wish I spoke loudly. But today I am doing something deeper than speaking. I am being. Being without leaving, being without demanding, being without condition, being in the quiet, where language cannot reach. But peace goes ahead of you like mist before sunrise. Do not try to memorize every sentence. Let these words steep, like leaves in warm water, not to read once and walk away, but to remain, to soak, to color the soul, to reach the places you believed had healed but still ache when the wind brushes. I am touching those places with my soft hand, not forcing you to relive pain, only lifting the weight from your heart. No one sees this healing. There are no stage lights, no applause, but heaven stands still. Because a soul is coming home while still on the earth. Coming home is not when you die. Coming home is when your heart stops running from me. Remain here in me a little longer. Do not rise too soon. Do not rush back to duty. People may think stillness means pause, but heaven knows when you are still. Heaven is working. You are being rebuilt within, quietly, patiently, without show, but truly. Like a sprout breaking soil, no one hears the crack. But one day everyone sees the tree. And when you rise after this moment, you will not stand by strength. You will stand by peace. Not because everything is easy, but because your heart has softened and your root has deepened. You do not need to bloom brightly. You only need not to wither. And I have already watered you. There are moments when the human voice is no longer necessary, because the soul itself is speaking in a way the mouth cannot express. And this is one of those moments, a place where you are no longer outside yourself but poured into stillness, where silence is not the absence of sound, but the overflow of a presence too full for words, where your heart is not asking for proof, because its very beating is proof you are not alone, that a love holds you from within, not with thunder, but with the gentle warmth of early morning light resting on a pillow after a long night. You do not need to prove you are strong. True strength is not seen in tight armor, but in the ability to relax without fear of falling, in the courage to loosen your grip without rushing to find another anchor, because your trust now is not built on what you feel, but on what you know in your nature. You belong to a keeping that never slips, to an embrace that never tires, to a promise that never changes, and you realize this peace is not because the world outside is quiet, but because the world inside you is soft again, widening again, as if the strain of recent days was only dust being wiped away to reveal what was there all along. A deep light is spreading, not harsh, not boastful, but seeping like water into thirsty soil, softening every hardened corner you thought would never come alive again. The questions that once hammered your mind now fall like dry leaves to the ground, no longer demanding answers, because the soul understands what the mind has not yet caught. Not everything needs explanation. Some things only need time. Not every path must be seen before you walk. Sometimes you walk and the path appears. Not every closed door is loss. Sometimes it is heaven's mercy keeping you from rooms not meant for you. Right now, healing is not loud. It is simply placing a hand on your heart and holding it, not pushing for quick recovery, not forcing a smile, just holding, just staying, just with you. And that alone is enough for darkness to lose its claim, for darkness does not fear shouting. Darkness fears gentle light that does not go out. The light within you is returning, not like fireworks blazing loud, but like ember glow that remains warm after the long night. It is the quiet fire that makes you endure, not the rush of inspiration, but the steady breath, the faithful small step, the silent choosing to keep believing, not faith performed, not faith displayed, but faith lived. And as you sit here, you may not feel yourself changing, but the season is changing around you. A tree does not hear its roots grow, yet they grow. Dawn does not announce itself with noise, it simply arrives, and darkness withdraws. So it is with you. You need not declare you have entered a new season, for the new season is entering you. Slow, sure, gentle, deep. Every wound once burning now cools, not from neglect, but from being held, washed, and soothed. And there is a quiet sentence forming within you, one you have not yet fully spoken. I am safe. Not safe because life will never strike again, but safe because your soul knows where to rest, where to return, where light waits whenever you grow tired. The breath you take right now is not an ordinary breath. It is the breath of one coming home, the breath of one who no longer fights to deserve, but simply exists and belongs. Pain once taught you to armor yourself, but love is teaching you to lay armor down without fear. For the armor you wore to survive has been replaced by love that lets you live true. In this stillness, an unseen hand touches the place that once cracked, not to question who caused the wound, not to assign blame, but to do what true love always does: hold and heal. No apology required, no explanation demanded. For love does not wait for conditions, it begins, and conditions dissolve. You will rise from this moment not with a grand proclamation, but with a softened heart the world cannot decode, but heaven immediately recognizes. This is the sign of the chosen, not the roar no one can ignore, but the peace no one can steal, not the show of strength, but the gaze untouched by noise, not shining armor, but a soul secure in being held. There are mornings when the soul wakes before the body, and today is such a morning, not because you rested well, but because something inside you just touched a new stillness, a stillness not born from everything being fixed, but from no longer fearing what is not yet fixed. And you find that instead of scrambling to prove you are healed, you simply breathe like someone who knows they no longer need to be strong by the world's measure. Life is returning not through cheers, but through steady heartbeat, through the calm of one who knows nothing needs to be clutched. For what is yours cannot be taken, and what is not yours does not need to be held. This is not surface peace, this is root peace. Roots do not boast, roots hold life, and you are living again from the roots, not from the shell. You begin to notice something strange and holy. What once stirred you now only brushes past like wind across a still pond, not because you are hardened, but because the water of your spirit no longer needs to ripple to feel real. Your existence is no longer proven by reaction, but by presence. The world may shout, but your heart no longer chases each sound. You hear what matters most, heaven's breath inside you. It does not shout, it whispers, and you see now the whisper of heaven is stronger than the roar of earth. When you are still, you are strong. When you stop trying, you are aligned. When you stand in love, you no longer stand defensively. No one can take what was placed in you by the hand of the Most High. Now something soft is spreading in your chest, like the earth softening after rain. When soil softens, roots deepen and seeds break open. No forcing, no pulling, only the right season and a heart made tender. You are in that season. No one else may see this change from the outside, but heaven sees. Heaven never measures by noise, heaven measures by depth. You think you are becoming still, but you are going deeper, not sinking, but rooting, not losing, but gaining what many overlook, the quiet of a soul who knows, who leads it. There was a time you thought you needed to turn to stone so pain could not touch you, but heaven is not turning you to stone, heaven is turning you into fertile ground. Soil may be stepped on, yet gardens rise from it. You do not need to become steel to survive this world. You are invited to become earth in which heaven plants life. And when you become soil, you do not weaken, you become the place where miracles break open. Those who once believed softness meant defeat will not understand. But heaven understands, and your soul understands. For true strength is not found in never being touched, but in being touched and not breaking, because inside you are held by the one who never leaves. In this very moment, you hear a calling that does not push nor hurry, but gently invites, rise, but rise softly, not rising to prove anything, but rising because you have already been lifted, not leaving silence so you may shout, but stepping into life with the gait of one who knows the worth of stillness, not doing much to feel useful, but doing little with depth. For heaven does not measure by quantity, heaven moves by essence. A single word born from a true soul can heal more than 1,000 hurried sentences. One peaceful gaze can dissolve another's panic without a sound. You will not step out to fight as before. You will step out to carry peace. Your peace will be your weapon. Your calm will be your evidence. Your softness will break the hardened schemes of darkness. You are learning to walk not as someone looking for a place, but as someone coming from one, not to find acceptance, but from already being accepted, not to seek the eyes of others, but from the gaze that has held you every day. You no longer need the hands of men to confirm to whom you belong, for the hand of heaven has already placed your name upon its heart, and that alone changes your way of walking. Those who have never gone through this will call it retreat, but the soul knows it is preparation. No one sees roots grow, yet everyone sees when the season blooms, and your blooming season draws near. There were times you thought belonging to heaven meant climbing high, stretching tall as if altitude equaled nearness to God. But now you see, heaven is not in the height of ambition, but in the depth of peace. Heaven is not in the noise of proving, but in the quiet breath of those who understand. The one who understands does not need to shout for belief. The one who has seen does not chase signs, for signs pulse quietly in their chest when they choose peace and truth. Your soul is remembering this, not by mind, but by a memory older than thought, a memory of spirit. You are not learning this. You are receiving back what has always been yours from before the first light touched the earth. You are remembering, and remembering is not learning anew. Remembering is awakening. You once believed strength came when you stood firm and braced your shoulders to prove you were not weak. But now you see real strength arrives when you no longer need to defend, no longer need to harden, no longer need to build walls to guard your heart. For when heaven holds you, you no longer need to hold yourself. This is not surrender. It is a higher safety that the world cannot reach. When a soul is held by heaven, it does not fear breaking, for it does not stand alone. It rests in the invisible arm, yet lacks no power. And when that arm draws you close, you no longer ask who will stand with you when needed. You are not standing on a battlefield alone. You are standing inside an embrace. Now, you no longer seek approving voices to feel right. You seek heaven's whisper to feel at rest. When your measure changes, the world loses its right to define you. Praise does not lift you too high, and criticism does not pull you too low. You are not swayed by the surface tides, for you are becoming the deep sea. Waves exist only on the surface. True ocean lives in the depths. Others may think you are quiet because you feel less, but you are quiet because you feel more. So deeply that words are not required. Reactions are unnecessary. And simply knowing that heaven sees is enough. When you live in heaven's gaze, human eyes can no longer steer your way. There is a holy moment in the spiritual journey when heart becomes so tender that tears and light become the same thing. You do not call it crying, you call it dissolving into presence. Not dissolving to disappear, but dissolving to belong. Like salt in the ocean, not gone but home. Your soul is returning home breath by breath, not running back, not straining to return, only returning by no longer leaving. Home is not the place you arrive at, but the place inside you never depart from. And when home lives within, nothing outside can take your shelter. You are learning to exist without needing to fight. This is the quiet victory only those once torn understand. Those tears are no longer evidence of pain, but windows where light enters. You no longer patch yourself to appear unbroken. You let the light shine through the seams. Those who have never shattered cannot understand the beauty of being pieced back together by sacred hands. Shards, once broken and held again by love, become lines of gold. You do not love yourself because you have never been wounded. You love yourself because you have gone through and remained gentle. Do not think you are shrinking. You are not shrinking. You are growing into the true size of your soul. Do not think you are slowing. You are not slow. You are moving at the rhythm of eternity. The world runs by clocks. Heaven moves by seasons. And your season is not pulled by ticking seconds. It is opened by calling. When heaven calls, you move. When heaven holds, you stand. When heaven touches your shoulder, you pause to feel. This is life belonging, not life proving. And when you live this way, no force can pull you back into old fear again. My beloved child, stay here with me just a little longer. Do not rise too quickly. Do not hurry back to the noise of the world. Let your breath remain as gentle as it is now. Let your heart stay open as it is in this moment. You have passed through reminders, quiet warnings weighted with tenderness, calls to be alert while still being held in my arms. And now I speak not to teach something new, but to comfort, to seal, to plant light in the deepest place you just opened. Because the most sacred thing is not what you understand, but who you become. And you are becoming one who hears heaven even in silence. You are becoming one who belongs, not merely one who believes. Stay still. Keep breathing. Let peace soak into every nerve, into every fold of your soul. No grasping, no striving, only receiving. You used to think the spiritual journey was found on high mountains, in great revelations, in extraordinary sights. But look, what was most holy just happened in quiet. No thunder, no fire, no, say, a splitting. Only a soul touched. And that itself is miracle. Do you see? A miracle is not always where things shake. A miracle is where a heart turns soft in a place once hardened. A miracle is the moment you stop defending. A miracle is remembering you do not have to become someone else. You only have to return to who you truly are in me. And that is enough to make darkness tremble. Look back at your journey not with eyes of judgment, but with eyes of mercy. You walked through stumbles, through doubt, through days that felt abandoned. But now you see, I never left you for even a breath. When you were quiet, I waited. When you wandered, I gently drew you back. When your heart closed in pain, I stood outside and knocked, never breaking through, never forcing your door. You say you arrived here because you tried hard, but the truth is, you arrived because you were loved. Love held you. Love lifted you when you fainted. Love waited for you to understand that you do not need to be strong before coming to me. You only need to be real. So now, release one more layer. Release the self-blame for choices past. Release the need to prove your worth. Release the pressure to know every direction in advance. No one grows by demanding perfection. Those who belong to me grow in peace and truth. I do not ask you to know all answers. I ask you to walk with me one step at a time. Walk in the light you have, and more light will come. Do not try to predict the storm. Learn to trust the one who holds the wind. Do not try to explain every trial. Remember, gold is refined and not diminished. You are not tested to be lowered. You are tested to be lifted. From now on, when you walk, walk as one who is loved, not one proving themselves. When you speak, speak as one with a well inside, not one thirsting for attention. When you choose, choose as one who has a refuge, not one scrambling to secure a place. Do not chase light. Become light. Light does not compete. It simply exists. And wherever it is, darkness gives way. There will be days you return to busy life, and this sacred sense feels faint. Do not fear. Presence does not leave because feeling shifts. I do not love you with the wind of emotion. I love you with my nature. When you do not feel me, Remember, emotion is cloud. I am sky. Clouds move. Sky remains. Whenever your heart feels dry, just whisper, Father. No long prayer. No perfect words. No formula. One breath. One calling. I am there before the whisper forms. You will not always feel strong, and you do not need to. Holiness is not never being weak. Holiness is knowing who holds you when you are. Spiritual success is not never trembling. It is always returning to the source. And you always have a way back. No door is locked. No guard stands in the way. No seat is taken from you. Home is always open. My heart is always open. My arms are always warm for your rest. Now, before you leave this moment, place your hand over your heart not as ritual, but as reminder that I am there. I do not wait for you far in heaven. I live in your breath. I do not stay somewhere high until you climb to me. I walk with you in each small step. Each ordinary day, each hour you think holds nothing sacred. It is in the hours that feel unsacred where holiness works most quietly. When you fold a shirt, I am there. When you wash a dish, I am there. When you rise from bed with a heavy chest, I am there. Heaven is not only on mountaintops. Heaven is wherever a heart still knows how to soften. Now go. But go gently, not leaving me, but leaving fear. Not to prove what you have just received, but to live it. Go as one who knows they are watched over, shielded, held, breathing in harmony with a rhythm higher than earth. And when someone beside you grows weary, speak to them not with theory, but with the very breath of peace you now carry. Speak with presence. Speak with your eyes. Speak with a quiet sentence, it's all right. Heaven is very near. I am here. I am still here, and I will always be here. You belong to me. You are chosen, kept, guided, not because you must be perfect, but because I am perfect in my love for you. Walk, live, breathe, and remember you never take a step alone. May the Lord's word continually remind you to live each day in faith and in His love. If this message has touched you, subscribe and turn on notifications so you will not miss the sacred and meaningful words God desires to speak into your heart. May the Lord bless you. Amen.